Hi guys, it's Kelly. I hope you're well. I really felt called to come on today. Maybe it's because it's a full moon. um, and talk about forgiveness. Full moons, we let go in full moons. I wanted to really talk about forgiveness today because it comes up a lot in my healing practice. And for those of you who don't know, I work with women who have a mother wound, who are recovering from a mother wound. So those are moms who are absent, often mentally ill, maybe addicted or abusive, critical. So there's a lot of wounding there. There's a lot of wounding to work through when we don't feel that our moms love us. And so, unsurprisingly, I get asked in sessions about forgiveness, and there's a desire to forgive, or maybe more so even a notion around, if I don't forgive, I'm not moving forward, or I need to do this. Something around there that's happening. Now, I know a lot of healers and a lot of spiritual teachers really, encourage people to focus on forgiveness, that they feel it's a very necessary thing to focus on. And I disagree. And I should mention, I have my own experience with having a mother wound. So my mom left when I was a kid, and many, many other things happened. So I've had this direct experience myself, and also felt this desire around wanting to forgive. And I'm an adult now. This happened in the past. It's time to move forward. I want to move forward with my life. So I can completely appreciate where it's coming from. But I really disagree with putting any sort of effort in towards it. I had a lot of anger towards, I didn't have any anger towards my parents for a long time, and then I had a lot of anger towards them. And then as I work through my own healing, I've come to a place where I've forgiven them, both of them, my mom and my dad. And it happened in a really spontaneous way. There was nothing I needed to focus on. There was no efforting on my part. I didn't need to devote energy or do any sort of journaling exercises around forgiveness or anything like that. And I actually think I have opinions here. I think it's a wasted effort. I think there are so many other ways that we could use that energy that we'd be putting towards trying to effort forgiveness. It's kind of like, forgiveness is kind of like I've planted the seeds and I've tended the garden, and the plants grow all on their own. I don't need to control it. And that's kind of what forgiveness does. It just kind of spontaneously springs forth. But I want to talk just for a second around this notion of should, because this comes up a lot. I should forgive. Clients might say they don't want to be ungrateful, depending on the situation. Some aren't feeling that way, but some are feeling like, oh, if I don't forgive, I'm not being grateful to my parents and whatever advantages that they provided to me. There's also, from the childhood, there's this like desire, belief, dynamic around, I need to be a good girl. And good girls would forgive and move on, and all is forgiven. So that, often as children, we really had to be really good in order to, create okayness for our parents. So perfectionism and all sorts of other things can kind of come out of that. So we might want to be good. We might want to say, oh, if I don't forgive, I'm not a grateful person. I'm not a good person. What we can also be doing by focusing on this forgiveness piece is we're kind of running a risk over minimizing our pain, our experience. Something along those lines. We have to kind of be careful of that, because the way to heal is actually to really go into it, to really feel what happened to us. And that's how we move forward. We need to digest the pain. So if we're kind of glossing over the pain and trying to get to forgiveness because we view that as like some sort of a finish line, we're bypassing our own healing. So we don't want to do that. And then I also kind of wanted to talk about this should for a moment. This happens a lot in our society, this should. I should hit the gym. I shouldn't eat that. I should, I don't know, do this or do that. Or you should do this. You should do that. And should is often, there's guilt and shame under the should. Often, if we really just look at it, like what's the energetic quality of saying I should? And just noticing, is there shame present? Is there guilt present? And we should a lot in our society. We should a lot. We don't want to should ourselves. We don't want to should ourselves, because when we use shame and guilt as motivation, we're actually manipulating ourselves and others. So it's very common. Shame and guilt are used as motivation by parents, by bosses, whatever. It's very baked into our society. It's a collective wounding that we have. So just noticing if we have a tendency to should ourselves. Just noticing that. And I can completely appreciate the desire to move forward. But focusing on forgiveness is not the way to do it. So what should we do? Instead of taking that energy and focusing it on forgiveness, and I'm going to journal all around what that means for me, we take that same energy and actually invest it in self-care. I would take that energy and invest it in what's going on with my heart, coming to working with, through what really happened to me as a child, working through how those set up some patterns that play out in our adult lives, right? Because the experiences we had as children, our brains are forming then, our nervous systems are forming, our physiology is forming and developing at that time. So if we're in an environment that's unhealthy, toxic, that affects the structures of how we develop. So we're better to take that energy and invest it into understanding ourselves, because when we understand ourselves, we can have really compassion, touching on the really tender parts of us that were wounded. And then from there, compassion springs forth. And then when I have compassion for myself and my own experience and the hurt I've been carrying, then we can extend the compassion to other people. So what happened for me after I was like, wow, I didn't even realize what I was carrying or how it had impacted my life, my relationships, my patterns, anxiety, all sorts of other things. Once I was able to see that in myself, I could really see it in my mom. I knew I was doing the best I could do all of those years with what I was kind of contending with and dealing with before I healed. And mom's the same. She was doing the best that she could. Now, I know that we hear that, and I don't mean to contribute to anyone bypassing their experience by being like, oh, well, mom did the best she could. When we really step into our emotions and we start allowing what's in there to come forward, and we're working through that, it lands differently. Just lands differently. Like, she really did do the best she could. And then from there, forgiveness just spontaneously happens. So I would just encourage you to not focus your energy on forgiveness. It's kind of like it's a distraction to the task at hand, because the task at hand is really about loving yourself and stepping more into your own empowerment and providing yourself with the love, care, and support that you didn't receive as a child, and the acceptance. That's actually what you need to be focusing on, not on forgiving. And I get it, family members or well-intentioned people saying, you should really forgive your mom. But no. And you may never. I'm not suggesting you need to. I'm not going to tell people that they need to forgive. You may not. And that's okay. That's actually okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to come on and do a video and talk a little bit about forgiveness. I hope you found this helpful and useful. If you feel so called and you would like, I would love to witness you and support you and help guide you through the journey of recovering from having a mother wound, right? So you know where to find me if that's the case, if you want to explore that with me. And until then, I will see you again soon. All right.